All right. What's going on, chat? Turn this down a skosh. Have it in the background. Pop the camera on. All right. What is going on? I hope everyone's doing well. Hey, how's it going, Jim? From Eastern North Carolina. I like how that's your intro every time. All right. What's going on, chat? Also, I shaved my head. There you go. You can't complain about me wearing a beanie. It got too hot. Had to be done. The beard, I haven't decided how I want to tackle it yet. It's quite robust. But kinky muddlers, as you can see, that's pretty much all I've been doing here. As well as we're going to be working on some ballyhoo imitations today. Drop the ISO down a little bit. Hey, what's going on, Paul? How's it going? Let me mute the mic while I move it so it doesn't make a terrible noise. All right. Now, kinky muddlers. I have 48 4-odd kinky muddlers right there that I'm putting liquid fusion on. Then I have another probably close to 60, I think it's going to be 2-odd kinky muddlers over there in tan, olive, and gray and white. If you're wondering why there hasn't been any fly tying tutorials, this is why. And there's going to be 36 ballyhoo flies that I'm working on at the moment. And this is what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be working on some of these, as well as maybe doing some kinky muddlers. But I've been in fly tying overload, just cranking out flies, because the guy who's taken all these for all the people going down to Baja is leaving on Tuesday. So that being said, there's also people that are leaving the next week and the week after, so I have a ton more to tie. But this is a big chunk of it done. But the more the merrier. So I also went and got some stuff because I didn't know. I was debating whether it would come on time, so I ended up getting some hackle. It's actually a pretty nice patch from the local fly shop. But of course, then the hackle came in today. It turns out we didn't even need the hackle because we ended up tying these ballyhoo type flies here with the 4-odd Gamakatsus, and I found some really cool material. I'll show you. We'll probably tie a couple of these from scratch tonight so you guys can see. So half of these are tied with Steve Farrar fiber, but the other half is tied with this material I haven't used before, and I highly recommend it. It's called MFC and Scales and Tails, it's called. First time trying it. I guess it comes in this biodegradable package, which is cool. It's made in Cambodia. I haven't tried MFC materials before, but that's what we used for the ballyhoo flies over here. And it's a nice material. I stiffened it up with some liquid, with some liquid fusion in the tail, and then I just need to UV resin the heads. But, so maybe we'll tie some of these from scratch to show you how I tied them, but, or we could try and tie something a little bit larger as well, or something, so. But anyways, got some different materials, got some hackle, yada, 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 just tying flies non-stop. And what we're going to do is, we're going to work on some of these ballyhoo flies. Just get everything lined up nicely. Everything's dead center, which I believe it looks like it. And yeah, very simple. So 4-odd hook, healthy, generous portion of bucktail. It's important that you build a beak. So the bucktail is tied to here. Then I take full length of Steve Farrar fiber, fold it in half, move up to the front, tie that in the middle in like big V tie, essentially, wrap back. Then I take another section of white here, and I tie this right here to help build up that beak section. And then what I do is I hit it with liquid fusion, tie a little bit more on top, and I built up this nice white tail. So I have all these white tails ready to go. And now we're just going to take some of this nice, what is this, herringback SF blend, and we're just going to do the same. Throw some eyes on it, yada, yada, yada. We'll tie some with the MFC later so you can see how they're tied. And I'm going to get back to kinky muddlers after this. So this weekend what I'm going to do is tie more gray and white because I ran out of white hackle. So I got to do more of these gray and white kinky muddlers here. So I'm going to try and get done another 36 of these is what I'm hoping. If I could do that, then we're really in good shape. So that's going to be the goal, is to do 36 more gray over white, which I should be able to get done over the next 2 days. So, but after the stream tonight, that's what I'm going to get back to. So we're going to finish up these ballyhoo flies, and once, you know, I still have to glue a lot of these too. So I'm saying I'm gonna try and tie 36 more, but I still have to glue about 100 flies here. So that's the main thing. Maybe tonight let's finish putting the slinky fiber on these, and maybe we'll start gluing these up with the UV resin, because I don't even know if I have enough resin. I might need to go buy more over the weekend, which they might not even have any. So we'll see. We got to get going on these flies here, so that's what we're gonna do. But apologies for not having any new fly tying content out, but as you can see, I've been a literal production machine over here, tying as many as I can. So in a week or two we'll be done, and right now this is a pretty good chunk of money, so this is important that I do as much of this fly tying as I can. But we're going to get back to making some striper, fly tying, and fishing content here soon. Apparently the fishing's been good. I haven't fished since the stream on Friday, which after ending the stream, unfortunately no fish. I stayed around for a while. I didn't see any boils. I didn't see anything. There was like one boil near me, but I don't even know if it was a bass. So, but apparently there's some like decent sized fish around in the bay. So if I go travel to some of the spots, I could probably find some. But unfortunately, everything's been put on the back burner. This fly tying's the most important thing. So we're pretty much tying like a majority of the flies for a whole expedition of people heading down there. So no, unfortunately not, Adam. One of these days I have to get down there. But the customer of mine owns a fly rod company, and they set up an expedition down to Baja, where they go to this lodge down in Baja, Mexico, and then there's like a whole bunch of boats, and they have, you know, like a whole bunch of guides, and everyone splits off onto boats every day and goes and fish for rooster fish and big mahi. So the big mahi that was in the photo is from a customer of ours, Don. He went and caught some big bull mahi and some giant rooster fish with our flies last year. So yeah. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people going down. There's a lot of folks from the island here too, and other places. So one day we'll go stay in a hostel or something. Now we have some other folks that are down there or something. I don't know. I would love to go down to Baja one day, but for now I need to try and continue to just slowly save up money to fix my boat. That's the most important thing. So actually we're going to move this just a little bit, the placement of this. So I took a break, took a shower. I was in the groove earlier. I started these last night, and so it took me like less than a day to get 36 of these ballyhoo flies done, so I'm pretty happy with myself. Though it's not the craziest fly to tie, but still. I didn't even know what I was going to tie. He sent me a photo. He's like, why don't you tie something like this? I was like, all right. Yeah, it looks good. Let me move this vise a little bit. So let's get these all tied up, shall we? But yeah, so there's another customer of ours, Mike. He literally was like a pound or two off from catching the like world record rooster fish on the fly. I think it was like well over 100 pounds or something. It was close. I don't know. It was something crazy, but he fought it for like 3 hours or something. It like turned into this whole thing. And I think it turns out he was like a pound or two off from the world record. So there's some serious fish down there. And I mean, I'm glad that not to toot my own horn because I've never rooster fished in my life, but from what they were saying, you know, I'm sure they're using a lot of commercially tied flies from like mass produced stuff, you know, from like Asia or wherever, you know, from companies and from other tires. But they were like, dude, your flies were performing beautifully. So they seemed to prefer the stuff I was tying. So even the guides down there were really impressed. They said, though, some of the flies had a little bit too much material on them because I was tying them like you would for a striper. When you're fishing for roosters, the second the fly hits the water, you're stripping it at the speed of sound, and the fly has to turn over properly, so they had to trim a couple of them. Because some guys said that, and some other guys were like, no, they were fine. So all I did is I just essentially took out one tie. So there was like 4 V-ties and then a hollow tie. I just went to 3 V-ties and then a hollow tie. So I cut out some material, so it's a little bit sparser, and it should be able to like instantaneously sit upright, you know, when you're stripping it at like Mach 10 or something. So anyways, I don't know. We'll see. I've never fished for the damn things in my life, but one day, that's the one thing. It's nice when you tie so many flies for a particular species to be able to go fish for them yourself so you can get a little input. You know, it's one thing to have someone tell you something, but it's another thing to just take your flies down there and just actually put them through the paces yourself. But that being said, you know, it's one thing to go albie fishing. It's another thing to go to Baja. So drive out to Montauk for the day is a little bit easier. But I do love tying flies like this. I've done a bunch of flies for rooster fish in the past for saltwaterflies.com. We did the Baja Deceiver, which I tied a fair amount of those. And then I tied a bunch of giant trevally flies for him over the years. So I've done a bunch of like exotic flies for different species that I've never fished for. So luckily, a lot of the stuff that we do in striper and just in general in saltwater fly tying translates to pretty much most flies in saltwater fly tying. Because, for instance, if you do, there are times where you need to like have a fly that you can kind of strip really fast and you don't want it to twist and turn. You'll run into situations like that with stripers. Maybe not as extreme, but you know, if you've never saltwater fished like that, you might not understand something, you know, how a fly might react in that regard, you know. And we talked about this before. This is a great video I'd love to do, is discussing. Also, I didn't see chat. There's probably some Twitch chat I missed. Yep. Yo, what's going on, Bobzilla? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Just hold a sign at a gas station saying you need money for your boat. Yeah. There you go. I'll be on the water in no time. And yo, Yumi, what's up? Out on the bike, but put my headphones on to listen. All right. You're listening to the ramblings of a fly tyer tonight on LI Flies Mike News. I forgot what I was talking about, but it didn't matter anyway. Ballyhoo. Apparently there's a bunch of ballyhoo down there. So they need skinnier flies with blue backs. So that's where we're at right now. I will say, I do really like this MFC material. This stuff's really nice, and it was reasonably priced. So I might even make a video just on the material, because I've never seen it before. It's really nice. It's comparable to other stuff, for sure, but they have, like, biodegradable packaging and stuff. I'm going to have to check it out. The company, see what they're about. We got one of these blue hairs wrapping around the bottom. I don't like that. Whatever, it's fine. Yo, Zeke, what's going on, dude? Look, I'll go fishing soon, man. I got another week or so, but a week or two, but hundreds and hundreds of kinky mothers. That's all I'm doing, so I'll join you at some point. I know the fishing's pretty good, and I've been wanting to go fishing, but I'm in full-time production mode, so these guys are leaving on Monday, then there's another group leaving the next week, and one more group leaving the week after that, so I have a good majority of it done, but this weekend I have to get a ton more done, and then the week after, it's not going to be too bad, but they might want me to, like, once they're down there for a week, they might be like, yo, send us another 100. So I'm just going to tie as many as I can. I'm going to have to order another box of hooks, which sucks because it's like $110 now or $105. I just bought, there's $105 for 100, and there's only 38 left, which I'm going to tie tonight. So I went through this box of 4-odd Gamakatsus in less than 3 days, which is, yeah, just shows you how much I've been tying. So busy, busy, busy. I got to do a lot more stuff though, so I might start working on 2-odds here this weekend as well, because I have a bunch of 2-odds, and they didn't order as many, so what I plan on doing, because people from Anglers Marketplace have been asking, I've been talking about it forever, and you guys wanted flies. I think what I'm going to do is, once all this stuff is done, I'm going to tie, because I'm going to have to order more hooks. I'm going to have like another 100 box of Gamakatsus. I'm going to use all the hooks, tie a bunch more Rooster muddlers or striper muddlers, kinky muddler variations, and then put them on Anglers Marketplace, I think is what I'm going to do. So we're eventually going to get some flies set up here if you guys want to support the channel and get some flies or something. But yeah, quite busy. How's everyone doing? I know Zeke's been fishing. Zeke's been catching some good fish. Put him up in the Discord. We're going to take a look later. Lost my hollow I've been using. Had to put a lot of pressure on. Was getting too close to the bar. Damn. Oh, like the boat was drifting, so you had to move it? Yeah. Yeah, there's some big fish around, dude. We should be fishing with Zeke, but well, I got to make this money, and once I'm done making the money, then we can go fish. So apparently there's a little bit of bluefish moving in too, because right around it now is the time, but not too crazy in my bay at the moment. I'll tell you what, next winter we are going to be, I'm going to make sure I do all this stuff ahead of time. And I said this last year, but I'm serious. I can't be doing this last moment because I hate missing on uploads for Mike Rolls Dice and Li Flies Mike. So I got to bang out a bunch of fly time videos and stuff here soon. I apologize. I've been slacking. It always ends up where they order it last second, and I know that I should have hundreds of these things already tied. But it always becomes like a last moment thing for both of us. So, and I know they're going to need it, so. Now, what would really be tragic is if I tied all these and then they don't go down to Mexico that year. That would really be tragic. As you can imagine, just between the box of, if the box of hooks, this fly is already $1 and something per fly, you know, just with the hook. Stuff adds up. Oh, we gotta put some eyes on. I gotta go outside and I'm gonna spray down this vise with some like WD-40, and then I'm gonna clean it with some like gun cleaning oil. Wipe it down, grease it up. Make sure she's got a nice coat on the metal. Yeah, these would probably make great half-beak flies for when we get the half-beaks. I've caught albies on flies like this. That's actually in the video. It didn't have as extreme of a beak, but in the albie highlight at the end, it's in the rain with the slow-mo, the video that I show every stream pretty much. They were eating half-beaks. It was so cool. There was like sharks, bluefin tuna, or some sort of tuna, and false albacore all together eating half-beaks. I think as well as anchovies, but I was fishing this like 5-inch deceiver, 6-inch deceiver, really skinny and long, and was catching a bunch of albies. Really cool. Yeah, next to the boat, my fault, the knot failed. I have a knot fail. You haven't had a knot fail in years, probably didn't tighten it and it slipped. Yeah, that, or maybe it like could have rubbed up against the fish at some point, you know what I mean? Against the scales or something, who knows. But yeah, it's usually not my loop knot. It's usually the uni or the blood knot to blood knot or whatever it's called, you know. Uni to uni or whatever. And it's because like I screwed it up, or like when I tightened it, I didn't like go nice and soft and lubricate it with some spit or whatever, so it'll like rough up the leader material, you know, on the lower pound test side. I feel like that might be the issue a lot of times for me, if I'm like just hastily tying it and I don't take my time, because you got to baby it as you're like tightening it up, as opposed to just ripping on it, because you're gonna like, that friction's gonna fray the lighter pound fluoro. But who knows? The curly ends, gotcha. Union out, yeah. Alright. Yeah, so just taking some C4R fiber here, and you can see working on this like little hump area here. This is gonna help us not only secure the eyes, but also just kind of give us that like larger beak down to the smaller beak sort of thing. And I'm just going to coat this in UV resin when I'm done. We'll probably do some of that before the end of stream. In fact, we'll try and bang out those heads. Playing some guitar as well. Wrote a couple more jams. When I'm done with this stuff too, I got a ton of videos to do and more fly tying, but I got to start working on some music to like replace this epidemic sound. And also for videos, I want to start making my own music for the videos, for fly tying and for micro rolls dice. Can we get an exclamation mark Tink on Twitch? Got a little excited there. Oh. I can't help it. I love moving the vise around. I'm like a very fluid fly tyer. Makes it very hard to film at times. Just make sure this is somewhat secure. Okay. Ballyhoos, ballyhoos. I think these are ballyhoos. I don't think they're half beaks down in Baja. I forget. And I forgot when I was texting the guy who was buying these, so I was like, the beak flies. I just called them the beak flies because I couldn't remember. I was like, were they ballyhoo? Were they half beaks? Both have the elongated beak-like nose for the baitfish. Yeah, half beaks are very interesting. Ballyhoo are more akin to like certain like needlefish, I guess you could kind of. They're somewhat similar to, right? I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All I know is freaking silver sides and bunker. We don't get anything cool anymore around here. Barely get an anchovy blitz. Heyo.
Hey, Mike and chat. ITM to you and yours. Folded hands emoji, fist emoji.
Well, folded hands and fists back. Yo, what's going on? Jin, how's it going, brother? Why is my Twitch? Let me refresh my Twitch browser. There you go. Yo, Jin, thank you, brother. Appreciate 86 months. Hopefully this isn't loud. Round of applause. Jeez. Unbelievable. Thank you again, my friend. How you doing? You been fishing at all yourself? We're tying Baja. We're Baja blasting right now. In fact, I want you guys to see there's a ton of ballyhoo flies back here. So we might as well display them proudly. Display all the ballyhoo flies. So many flies. Okay. Got a couple more of these suckers. I might tie a couple more for prosperity. To, in case some of the other guys want them. Or maybe we'll just tie one so you guys see them. So we can have a little bit of a treat. I don't know. Start gluing them though. First fish of the year last Sunday on the Cape Flats. Very cool, dude. I'm excited, dude. I've been so busy this past, like, essentially, like, past month and a half, 2 months, whatever, between the video stuff and this. I barely even left my house. So, I'm excited to get caught up on all this stuff and get back to, like, having a little free will. This has been a like a fly tying marathon, so I'm gonna go out and do some fishing. We're gonna do some live streams that worked with the multi-stream. I just can't see the YouTube chat, so I don't know what the solution would be. Have another phone. I've done that before. I'm not paying for another freaking phone plan, so maybe I can rotate between the chats, between streams. Either way, we're fishing, streaming it. That's all that matters. Would be nice to see the damn chat, though. I gotta see what the quality is. Maybe I can bump up the quality, too. Because I think the bitrate was, like, pretty good using Restream. Restream's fantastic. I gotta start paying for their premium stuff. Also, can you hear this dog in the background? I don't think so. My neighbor's dog, it's a little white dog, just barks incessantly. Hopefully you can't hear it. Luckily, I talk incessantly, so it kind of probably drowns out the dog. Cute little dog, just barks non-stop. You kind of hope they would tell it to stop barking, but that's alright. They're cool neighbors. So. Get these suckers all tied up. I should be putting some super glue on there. I'm kind of being lazy right now. Because the super glue does help. In fact, I probably should. Even though I'm just getting super glue all over my hands. It just helps when it comes to like getting the body shape right as well. Just a little dab will do ya. You know? It's important to get the eye back far enough on the material where you don't need to make up for the profile with a ton of UV resin. So I'm hoping I can skimp and not have to use a ton. I should have, if I would have known, I would have ordered another bottle, but this was like a last minute thing, so I'll have to figure out how I do it. Yeah, a little dabberoonie. Exactly. I think between these two bottles I should have enough. Well, that one feels pretty heavy. We should have enough. I also have some thick, or some thin. Didn't I get another? Oh, I got like a full bottle of thin. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good on the resin front. Stressful. This last minute fly tying, man. Luckily, you know, look, I'm charging a pretty penny, so don't worry, it's worth it. It's not like I'm getting $5 a fly. Let's just say that. So, your boy's gonna, it's not like I'm gonna be rich, but I can pay my bills for a little while, you know what I mean? That's all we need. What I should do is just take my time after this and just slowly tie a bunch more of these and just continuously tie these forever. And then I'll never need to like rush. Just always tie, just never not tie kinky muddlers in my spare time. But casually. You know what I mean? Not like too much. Let me turn my mic down. It was a little A little hot. Man, it would have been nice. We almost caught a fish on the stream. We had a nice hit. I really think we missed that worm hatch, by the way. I think that worm hatch happened probably, I want to say 3, 4, or 5 days before it. I think that was like the last fish cruising by looking or something. But I heard reports of other worm hatches going on. And unfortunately was busy tying these rooster fish flies and all that. And then the moon was coming up. I was like, all right, we got to go check it out. But I think it already happened, unfortunately. So if you're looking for a worm hatch, I don't think you want to go on the actual... Like, traditionally, I would fish closer to the moons. It seems like it's happening either a week before or the in-between the moon cycles, which would be 2 weeks after a full moon, 2 weeks before a new moon. Very strange, but it seems like it's been happening like that. It would be like a week and a half or a week before the new moon is when it full-blown worm spawn, and then by the time the actual moon comes around, it's kind of died down altogether. Which is really strange. Not gonna lie. It wasn't like that previously. It would be much more, it'd be like on the moon. But maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's, I couldn't tell you. It's something to do with worm science. I'm not a worm scientist. Has a lot to do with temperatures. Well, it was even colder. It happened when it was actually really cold out. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the cold had something to do with it. It forced it or something. I don't know. That's what was the strangest thing, is it was really cold and rainy and crappy out. And that's when it happened. Not when it was nice and sunny closer to the moon. So, because usually it's like the mud heats up, and I think that helps them, but it was like colder and cloudy. So I don't know, it was very strange. Anyways, we missed the worm hatch. So yeah, that was the most exciting thing that had striper wise happening every year. Now it's gonna, we'll see. I got to get out there and fish though, because at some point once summer hits, dude, we'll see. If it was anything like last year, the inshore fishing was not very good. Right now, it seems like there's actually quite a decent amount of pretty large fish inshore that you can catch, whether you're on a boat or by, from land. But we'll see. Once the water temps heat up, I don't know, they might just move out into the ocean. So, like, dude, I should probably be out fishing every day right now, but it's just unfortunate timing, as usual. But that being said, I'm glad that I am tying all these flies, because these guys are going to go down there, catch 100-pound rooster fish. Maybe they will break the world record this year on one of my adaptations of Johnny King's fly. And, Johnny King's recommended us personally to this person, so we have the creator of the fly, and this and that. So I'm glad I'm tying these. I enjoy tying these flies a lot. They're a fantastic fly. And it definitely beats tying a bunch of clouser minnows for a shop, I'll tell you that much. So I think I'm going to try and just specialize in these damn things from now on, and flies like it. Focus on a few. As well as I do a jack of all trades. I tie everything anybody wants, but I do enjoy tying the muddlers. I got my first fish of year last Sunday on the Cape Flats. I don't even know if I read that, but were you out on a boat? I think I saw you were out fishing with somebody recently, right? Very nice. Oh, I'll go down and do some more fishing over here by my house. Maybe some fish have moved in, for all I know. Definitely was bait last time, and apparently there's fish all over the bay, so maybe I'll get lucky. Should probably just go fish at night at like high tide. But what I really need to do is I need to travel. I need to go closer to the inlet. and go fish around there. Maybe even fish the ocean side. Also, how's it going, Tony? One thing you gotta do. Always gotta make sure the eyes are straight. And I forgot to do that for a couple of these. But we're looking pretty good. Working too much to get out. But way of life. Yep. That's alright. You know? What are you gonna do? Make the money while you can. Hopefully you can get out and do some fishing at some point. Or enjoy life a little bit. More so than hopefully you're enjoying it when you are working, but enjoy it more, I mean, yeah. I did a little swimming in the Sound yesterday. Oh yeah? Did you flip your kayak over? Is that what you're implying to? The beach guys are getting them? Yeah. You're probably seeing them getting them too, I'm assuming. Well, first things first, when I'm ready for some serious fishing, I'm going out with Zeke on his boat. Maybe next week or something, we'll see. Because some guys did order other flies, but like it's not going to be a ton, right? So I can easily tie that. Just depends on if the big guy who's ordering everything, who's going down there on Tuesday, if they're going to want more. Because they have other people that are going down at a later date. He can always have them come and pick up flies. So that's what we were talking about. I'm like, all right, cool. Because they'll be down there for a week with like a ton of dudes. Let's just say it's even 20 dudes fishing every day for like 8 hours a day. Like they could easily burn through all these flies. You know what I mean? Or they might want different colors and stuff. So I'm like an on-call fly tire, essentially. Like, you know, on firefighters or something will be on call. I'm ready for a text at 3 a.m. Mike, we need more flies. That's okay. I'm there. I try not to stay up till 3 a.m. anymore, but to be fair, I might generally be up. So I spent all day doing this. Like, literally, I've just been tying all day. But what I've been doing is I haven't even been plugging in my guitar into the amp. I've just been at like 1:30 in the morning. I go downstairs before going to bed and hit the hookah lounge or whatever, and I'll sit there and play like my Strat acoustically. And I haven't even plugged in my guitar in like a week. But I've been playing every day. I've been practicing. I haven't been working on my music theory, quote unquote, with like learning the major stuff and the triads and the circle of fifths, but I've just been trying to like work on some more songs and stuff. So get ready. There will be some live guitar playing at some point. Get ready. It'll probably be this summer. Later summer. We'll have the White Claws flowing. I've gotten a few schoolies 2 years ago, but nothing since. Dude, so I think I didn't catch a single. You know how we always used to stream down. Oh, you did flip the kayak? Well, luckily, hopefully it wasn't too cold. You gotta be careful. Hopefully you were able to flip it back. I'm lucky, knock on wood, I never flipped my old town. Because it's literally like a boat. It's not even like a kayak. What was I going to say? Last year, I could count the amount of bass that I caught on, like, 2 hands. You know what I mean? And I was fishing a lot. Specifically, like, filming, to try and get footage for videos, for different videos I wanted to make. You know what I mean? But last year was officially the worst year of striper fishing I've ever had. And the year before that was, like, not too much better. And talking to a lot of people, it's not been very good. So there's nice size fish. Like you can catch a 30-pounder right now, and there's like 36-inch fish they're all like decent sized fish, but there's not a lot of schoolies, and that's what I get a lot of times in the back bays or the dinks. You know what I mean? You got your personal best yesterday? Nice. How big was it? Is it a sit-in? What, my kayak? The Old Town? If you look at some streams or videos, you'll see it. It's a sit on top, but the thing weighs 100 pounds bare. And then I TIG welded a motor mount, and then I can slip a gigantic marine battery in the front and put a Minn Kota motor on the back. And then I never need a paddle, and I can just zoom around, and I can stand up and fish. So it's so stable, I can stand up in the kayak while fishing. The problem is, I can't even, like, pick it up. It's so heavy and so big, it like, I threw my back out using it one time, one of the last times. I hurt myself, and I was like, dude, I don't know if I can use this thing anymore. And then I ended up getting a boat, but... 43? Nice, beautiful. Hey, nothing wrong with taking a quick measurement and then letting her go, you know? Keeping her wet. So one of my favorite Instagram accounts I found recently, because Instagram has literally just been showing me, like, the most vile things of people beating each other up. I must have watched a video of somebody getting beat up or something, and then now it's just recommending me, like, the most violent things. I hate it. I hate looking at Instagram now. I hate it. It, like, ruined my algorithm. I don't know what happened. But I found a line about striped bass, it's called. And it's a Instagram account, like, essentially calling out people. It reminds me a lot of the FFBI, which is the Fly Fishing Bureau of Investigation. But I highly recommend, I think it's called Line About Striped Bass, is with, like, its underscores and stuff. But, dude, it's, like, showing photos of, like, people just, like, fish covered in sand, and they're holding it by the gills. They, like, throw it in the water, and the thing's belly up, and the guy's text is like, caught a 50-pounder today, and the thing's, like, literally, like, 20 pounds. And look, it swam away nice and strong, you know what I mean? Dude, I love that page, Line About Striped Bass. That's literally, like, my exact feeling towards a lot of striper fishing nowadays, and especially social media. So I highly recommend checking out Line About Striped Bass. It's a fantastic page, okay? Anyways. You compared it to the rod eyes? Yeah, that's what I have tape on my rod, and I never really measured, like, I don't really care about the exact, but I had certain measurements. So, like, I had 36 measured out, and I knew if I'm getting across there, if I'm from tail, because what I can do is keep the fish in the water, put my rod, lay it on the fish in the water, or put my rod in the water, and then hold the fish by the mouth, right? And then I can just hold it at the rod eye, and then have it to the butt or whatever. And I had it at 30 inches, and I had one at, I want to say, 36 inches. And that was it. I didn't get too ambitious. But if you're breaking 36 inches, you know you're doing pretty good. Yeah, I mean, look, I will beach fish in the surf because, like, there's no way if you're fishing in the surf, there's no way to land a 15-pound striped bass when there's, like, an actual surf going on in November. So there's nothing wrong with riding the fish in with the wave. The thing is, you then take the fish immediately. The fish is not covered in sand at this point. The fish is still wet. It's just on the sand, but in the wet sand. Then you take the fish, you pick it up, you take the hook out of its mouth, and then you gently put it back in the surf. The problem is they're dragging it through the wet sand into the dry sand, and then the fish is flopping around and stuff. So there's nothing wrong with beaching fish, but you need to do it right. Lou Taybury and some other guys explain how to actually land fish in the surf. Because if you've seen, like, Lou Taybury, he's caught, like, 40, 50-pound bass and stuff like that in the surf. Like, you can't grab that fish. It'll break your wrist, you know what I mean? So you got to, like, slip it onto the beach. But I've seen some atrocious fish handling over the years. I joke about it all the time. Swam off straw in all those Jersey 50s. Dude, I'm telling you, I really think people underestimate how much catch and release mortality is happening. And, like, the ASMFC, people were all up in a hoopla, like, well, how do they get these numbers? Dude, I think you'd be surprised how much And people are posting this, right? Thinking that it's cool to post them, like, you know, the fish is swimming upside down. So how many people do you think are doing this without posting it? You know what I mean? I bet you there's a lot of fish dying from overhandling, getting gut hooked. Yeah, lying about striped bass, but it has the underscores in between the letters. Yep, fantastic Instagram page. Highly recommend checking it out. Yep. Well, you know, when there's a moratorium in a couple of years from now and everyone's bitching and moaning, you know, there you go. They should make a striped bass fishing class that you have to take for free online before you get a license. There should be a striped bass fishing license that's free. It's like the Marine Registry, but you have to sign up for it or something. Or that it's part of the saltwater fishing registry. Take a 5-minute thing and just force people to look at it and sign at the bottom. Half the people won't even look at it. But even if some people look at it, you know what I mean? And it's just talking about safe handling. Using circle hooks is the law, you know, when it comes to fishing with bait now. Yeah, guys, step on them, kicking them back in the water. Well, the best thing about kicking them in the water, what do you call it, is there are many people who used to kick. So guys used to kick striped bass back in the water, and they weren't. People stopped doing it, not because they didn't want to hurt the fish, but because people found out that if you kick a striped bass in the back with its spines, the spine is actually thick enough to go through your neoprene boot. And some dudes back in the day, probably even nowadays, it'll still happen. They'll kick the fish, and the spine that's in the back of the fish, it's really strong, the spines that they have. That's part of their back dorsal fins and stuff. It'll go through your neoprene and into your toe, like underneath your toenail. Some dudes, I've read in some different books I have that people had that happen to them, ended up in the hospital. So a lot of dudes learned not to kick striped bass, and this is back in like the 50s and 60s. They probably weren't even thinking about conservation. They were like, I don't want to get a spine in my toe. You know what I mean? But yeah, ethically, you don't want to kick them either, because it's obviously not good to kick them in the spine before you release them. And the spine does give infections. Yeah, you do need to go to the hospital if you get poked by those, like in your toe deep or something. You know, it's definitely not just brush it off. Can't be a moratorium with the commercial industry? Nah, I think you'd be surprised. I'm sure that you know the recreational industry is already more profitable than the commercial. I know they're like, I think now that I mean, look, they did the regulation on size and stuff like that. I think it's not like back in the day when it was maybe more, you know, favoring commercial. They didn't care as much about conservation and stuff like that. I think no matter what, they don't want to do moratorium because of the financial impact, the billions of dollars recreationally. I'm not going to be making money on striper flies if there's a moratorium, but also on commercial and on, you know, tourism and all that jazz or whatever. But they were considering it. They were already talking about it, and I think they're just going to put it off for as long as they can until they have to. And it's probably going to, I bet you it's going to be within a couple of years they're going to do a moratorium. I guarantee you. Because we're already at the point to where they probably should have done it. I hate to say it, but we're already at that point. If you look at the numbers for the spawning fish and all that, and the stock of like juvenile fish. So, but it's going to get to a point to where they can't ignore it. You know what I mean? And then they have to do it. So, but one thing to look forward to is after the moratorium, I hope that I hope they go from 28-inch to 36 and they go to like straight up 36-inch. That's what the old timers said or something, you know, or I don't know. It's hard to say, like, because also the big fish, do they produce more? It's hard. I really don't know. I had the old timers tell me after the moratorium, you could keep a 36 and above. Maybe they should do 36 to 48 or something. I don't know. But every fish was like 36 inches. They were like, dude, the amount of 36-inch bass you were catching after the moratorium there for a couple years was phenomenal. Then they started like lessening it down to like when it was whatever. But I really don't know what the proper thing to do is. But no matter what, they will have to do a moratorium. So, which means you are not allowed to target striped bass, even catch and release, unfortunately. The meeting to discuss the moratorium is in 2028, I read. Yep. Well, I bet you they'll wait long enough to where it's going to be. They already should have done it, but they're going to wait long enough to where it's going to be too late, and it's going to already have a ton of impact and damage done to the population of stripers. Stripers will be around. It's not like they're going to die off, but it's like, I don't think you're going to see the fishing like we saw back in the 90s or something, you know? Striped bass and bluefish derby on Martha's Vineyard. Took out striped bass from the tournament, but are still catching them. They just can't keep them. Well, good on them for doing that. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of them killing all the albies. I see so many big albies killed for that tournament, but you know, I get it. There's not even regulation on albies, but good on them for taking out stripers from it, because even though you could say do catch and release or whatever, vice versa. You know, I think they do it where you have to bring the fish in to measure it, right? But they could do like a catch and release thing or something, but, you know, I don't know. They probably don't even want to mess with it. I think the whole reason they probably didn't do it is because they actually, they have you kill the fish for the derby, right? Don't they? Do they have a catch and release for the derby or what? Yeah, no need to kill them. I hate it. I hate seeing, because look, let's say you catch a 10-pound albie, you're going to kill it for the tourney. But then you end up catching a 10.5-pound albie, so you end up killing that one. But then let's say you catch an 11-pound albie, well, now you got to kill that one. Well, what if you catch a 12-pound albie? Well, you got to kill that one now for the tournament. You know, I'm not a fan of that style of tournaments. I'm not a fan of tournaments in general. I don't like making fishing super competitive. You know what I mean? So, either way, I'm not. You know, is what it is. Yeah, well, we'll see, Calvin. You know, we'll see what they do, right? You have some of these charter boats who go to the same spot and chum the waters, catch striper like they're pets. Yeah, you know, and look, there's a lot of... We need commercial fishing. We need charter boats. These are people making livings. There are certainly bad actors, and there's certainly bad actors in the recreational fishing. We know that, too. I've seen many people poach. I've seen many people do bad things. So there's bad folks all around, but there's many, you know, there's nothing wrong with harvesting straight bass. And I was very anti-commercial fishing until I did some commercial fishing for silver sides and bunker and stuff, and learned, you know, and started working with people from the DEC. They're like, look, we have to do some bunker fishing here. The fish are dying off because there's literally millions of bunker. There's not enough oxygen, and they're getting funneled in here, you know what I mean? And one fish kill, and it's an ecological disaster. It destroys the river, essentially. So, like, look, we're going to allow some bunker fishing and here. And, you know, and after a while, they're like, okay, it's not like you're killing all the fish. You're making an impact, but, you know, it's like a healthy ecosystem now. So it's like part of conservation, right? You should be able to harvest striped bass for food. You should have a healthy recreational charter, like captain fishery, whether it's fly fishing or charter boats with bait, whatever. And you should have a healthy recreational fishery. That's the whole goal, right? But from mismanagement and too much pressure and stuff, like, they probably should have been super stricter on the sizes and on things like that, and taken a moratorium if they need to. But, you know, there's politics involved. There's all sorts of stuff, right? It's not as easy as just whatever. So, but that's why it is important that you need to go. Like, I've been to meetings about bunker to ensure that a recreational dude can harvest some bunker, and to ensure that a commercial dude can harvest some bunker and this and that, and to make sure that the Virginia corporations don't end up getting all of the rights and percentages to the bunker industry, so they can just destroy everything down there with their helicopter followed boats. So, like, I've been to a DEC meeting before. It's important, like, they hold these things. I wasn't able to go to the ASMFC striper one, but I at least wrote an email and all that. Whether it made a difference, I don't know. But yo, what's going on, Southern Fly Guy? Hope you're doing well, dude. Appreciate it. Thank you for the 23 months. Let's get a round of applause. I'm just ranting about stripers. So, but yeah, we'll see. You know, I think we 100% will see a moratorium within the next, I'm gonna say, 5 to 6 years. But who knows? Apparently it's going to be 2 years from now they're going to talk about it. let me just clean off this bobbin real quick, and we're gonna glue up some of these ballyhoos. Maybe we take a quick hookah lounge break before I start getting UV resin all over my damn hands. Also, I'm not using very good pliers for this. Let me find, do I not have another? I do have another pair of pliers, but they're somewhere else. Ah, X-Acto blade. This is the best. Not the easiest with the UV resin, but... There we go. Clean the bodkin off. We got to get you down here in early 27 to fish with Henry. You can stay at my place. I'm definitely going to go fish with Henry at some point. 100%. Without a doubt. I would love to go visit at some point. Just even for a day or two. You know what I mean? Virginia's not bad, too. Could always drive to Virginia. I've driven down to Florida. Florida's tough. Virginia, I think... I'm trying to think. Where did we exchange... When did I stop? Was it Delaware, or... I think I've done a Virginia... Well, Virginia's pretty far, but not terrible. Alright, sounds good. Alright, you're close. Alright. Yeah, one day. I got a lot of trips. I got a lot of places people want me to go fish. But, busy man. Alright, we're going to apply some resin here. I'm hoping really not even really have to use the bodkin that much. The idea is 1 medium coat, 1 thin coat. That way I don't have to spend forever gluing all of these damn heads. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going to have enough medium resin, though. I'm a little concerned. But we'll keep it light. I've done most of the work with the thread. I don't even really need to use the bodkin, I guess, but... Just get any uneven spots out. And then I'll hit it with some thin. Make sure the eyes are fully covered. And it's this little area, it's that transition right there that I want to make sure where the eyes are somewhat neat. Thin coats as well. It's important to do thin coats. The resin might run on you otherwise, and also just works better with 2 coats as opposed to 1 thick one. I think it's a little stronger. We'll have to do a test. What's actually stronger, but I think 2 coats is stronger than just 1 big one. Because if it cracks, it'll crack through 1 coat, not 2 coats. But I don't know. I guess it depends on the impact per se. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Let it cool down, and then thin coat. So again, this is like a ballyhoo or like a needlefish or something like that. You know what I mean? Pretty simple. What's the best way to keep my new Balua 4-piece from separating at midpoint every time I fish? So even when you like really snug it down, it's popping off. I don't know. I think that's actually how I broke my Wolfram rod, and I should have asked him what I should have done earlier. But I remember someone. I think there's got to be something. Maybe can you take like some what's the stuff plumbers use for thread sealer? You know what I'm talking about? That really thin stuff you can wrap on the threads. What do they call that? The tape. Like the thread tape. I forgot what the name of it is. Maybe you could take something like that and apply a thin layer of it. But I feel like that'll just probably smudge in like Teflon. That'll probably just bunch up. So you need something. Maybe like 1 thin coat of electrical tape or something. I don't know. Ideally, what you need to do is contact Balua and say, hey, the rod keeps separating. Maybe it got sanded down too much. So maybe you could like, you know, I don't know what would be the fix. Zeke is does rod building on the side for fun. He's pretty good at it. Could you apply, like, how would you fix that as a rod builder? Would you apply another coat of like epoxy to it and sand it down till it fits snug? Almost lost it in the pilings. I think you should call them and be like, hey, brand new rod, it keeps popping apart. Because if the rod breaks like that, what could happen is the rod will slowly work its way up and you'll be casting mid-cast and it could break. That's what happened to me. Beeswax? Yeah, beeswax could actually work pretty good if you take some sort of dubbing wax or like a thick beeswax. That's probably your best bet to fish, but I would contact them because I think the owner of Bluer Rods I think they're pretty cool, that company. I don't think you're going to end up talking to the owner, but like, you know what I'm saying? I think they're a pretty good company from what I've heard. So I think if you contact them and let them know, I think they'll either fix it for you or, because it's, you know, it's a nice rod when booming it. Yeah. It'll happen over time. It might even happen. That's the thing though. If you end up, here's the problem. Is how I broke the rod is that was casting 20 mile per hour, 30 mile per hour wind. The rod worked itself up and it was going to fly off like it had done in the past a couple times while albie fishing, flying off whilst fishing on the inlet, and my rod goes into the inlet and I have to like fish it up. But it's in the water, luckily. But you know what I mean? You have to like reel your line in the whole way or fish it up. But I was casting, and now imagine you're fighting a fish or you hook a fish when this happens, and your rod has worked itself up and it hasn't fully popped off yet, but it's maybe just hanging on by like half an inch. And you're casting and it's blowing and you're double hauling, the rod can snap and break like that. That's how I've broken rods. But God forbid you end up hooking a 30-pound bass and your rod's about to pop off like that. And you go to set the hook, it will just snap that piece right there and break. I thought I broke it twice, real loud, strange sound. Yeah, it's like when it pops off. Yeah. Or if it hits or something, you know. It makes a weird noise at times, too, when you're casting mid-cast and it comes flying off. Contact them. In the meanwhile, you can use some wax, but I would 100%, like, email them tonight or something. Be like, hey, the rod tip keeps falling off, and I've almost lost it a couple times, and I could put wax and stuff, but I'm worried that, you know, God forbid something happens. And they might just fix it for you. They might have you send in that one piece, probably, like that one, the male side of the end, or maybe the male and female side, like those two pieces or something. I don't know. But definitely do that, so 100%. Now, that being said, we got a lot of ballyhoo flies to glue, so we got a lot more chatting to do as well. So we're going to glue some of these ballyhoo flies here coming up. Are we in manual focus? Are we not? No, we're in autofocus. Yeah. So this is the MFC material. Check this stuff out. I really like it. It's kind of similar to Slinky, but it's got some of the, it's almost like Flash and Slinky. It's probably be a nice alternative to Flash and Slinky, I guess. But it's a little, I don't know, it's like a little less curly. It's a little straighter than the Slinky. A little less coarse. But it is a nice material. And check this out. I mean, a big pack like this was $9. And this is from the local shop, which usually charges a little bit more. So I bet you could get this for like $7 or something. And I've already used a decent amount of this blue because I tied 18. So like there was like another like that much material in there. So we're gonna tie more with this, but something tells me this stuff's really nice. I like it. What I want to do is tie like a Henry Cowan's baitfish with this and see what it's like. Because I think this is going to work great. And look, it's nice and long. I mean, I don't know. What is this, 14 inches? It's not 12, is it? Oh, it is 12. Okay. It is 12. I thought maybe just a little bit longer. But I think it's like 12 here, and there's like another 2 inches of package. But yeah. Nice. Scales and tails, yeah. That's the Nyaka material. Oh, yeah, it is. That's hilarious. So they had this at the local shop. I forgot. I was like, this looks like the stuff. So we got to tie some of these then. We got to, you know what? They wanted this stuff, but I don't know how you would tie it. I don't know how you tie that fly. What the hell was the name of that fly? The Nyaka one or something? The Nyaka baitfish? I'm going to have to see. I'm going to experiment this weekend. Maybe I'll tie some up for them as a test for next year. Because now I got the material. I got to say, this material is very cost effective. Very cost effective. Because, I mean, look at how much your material you're getting from Steve Farrar fiber. Now, mind you, I've used a lot. So this is a used pack. Let's get a brand new one. And this is a used pack of this. But still, this is $1 more. I mean, you do get a fair amount of material in there, but this stuff, I think, I kind of like a little bit more than the SF blends. So we'll see. We're gonna mess around with this, but this is the Nyaka stuff. That's hilarious. I thought it looked like it. I was like, this is scales and tails. That sounds familiar, and it looks like the exact material that we were talking about. So that's funny. All right, so maybe I'll try and tie some of those. I don't remember how I don't think we figured out exactly how they were tied either, did we? So anyways, well, now I kind of want to tie one of those. I have so many eyes to glue, but that's like the least exciting thing for you guys to see, isn't it? So we could, all right, let's tie one of these Nyaka flies. Damn it. That's hilarious. It's actually one of the materials. That's great. Nyaka baitfish. By the way, that's the owner of Balua Fly Rods developed this fly, by the way. This was developed by the owner of Balua Fly Rods, which is hilarious. It just came full circle from the... Hold on. Did I fully unplug it enough for it to work? Let's see. Okay, there we go. Shawnee sees Nyaka baitfish. So, I think we figured out. The feathers come right up to about here. The feathers are right about here. Okay? And then I believe, I don't think there's a cone or something. But I think what's going on is the material's hollow tied. Now, what we haven't figured out, okay, is there one hollow tie or is there two hollow ties? Because this is too clean, obviously. You can see it's folded back, right? So is there, or should I say, is there a V-tie? Does it go feathers here? Marabou? I don't think there's marabou. But is it feathers, V-tie, or V-tie top and bottom, then hollow tie? It kind of seems like that might be what it is. Not trimmed. It's hard to tell. This might be just one tie of material, but a good amount of material. It's a brush? Really? I don't think this is a brush, is it? No, how could it be a brush? It's two colors. It's two colors, goddammit. It's not a brush. We went over this. You can't get this with the brush. You would have to have the hair perfectly evenly spaced for every wrap. And then you could only use it on a certain size diameter hook. Is there a feather support? Yeah, there's definitely like bucktail or something. I'm gonna do bucktail. I think it might be one hollow tie. I like where you're thinking, Zeke, but have you ever tried to tie a two-tone fly I've tried it where I've like I've tried to make dubbing brushes myself where I could do it, but it's like impossible to do it or at least I think it is. Yeah, I think this is one hollow tie. I think the feathers come to here, right here. Then there's like butt ends of material right here. It's like flared outwards. And then hollow tied back. I think is what it is. Because if you look, it's like pretty round. I wonder if we could see it from another. These are the same photos. I think we saw Saltwater Edge. Or Bear's Den. Bear's Den has the... yeah. We talked to the guy. So me and Zeke went to the fly show. I talked to the guys at Bear's Den. So this one's a little bit larger. But it's like a video. We could see it, actually. So I think that, yeah, it's just bucktail. Looks like off the back. Very long bucktail. This is one they tied. Somebody tied. I don't think this is one of the commercially tied ones. Because it's on a Lana hook. And it's straight up hollow tied. So I don't know if it's... They did multiple hollow ties. This is one of the commercial tied ones. You can see this one's sparser. It's much less material. This is like the one in the video or someone similar, you know? These ones have tab eyes too, but... Oh, the feathers are tented for sure. If you ain't so this is basically a Johnny King's Kinky Mother with a hollow tie in the front that's not trimmed. That's my belief. With less ties. It's almost like a simpler Johnny King's Kinky Mother, or it's almost like a Who Fly. It's kind of what it's like. I think the hackle is tied up to right here. These are really short hooks. So the hackle goes up halfway the hook. Tented, of course. We're going to do the Johnny King's tent, so it has that flare. I might throw in Marabou, just because, so I have a little transition, and then do one hollow tie. But it's quite flared. These are much less flared, these commercially tied ones. I could just tell from looking at it, it's not as bulky as that one we saw in that video. But yeah. So, Saltwater Edge had a photo too. I'm just looking for photos that aren't the commercially tied ones that you get from whoever makes these, you know what I mean? This one's larger, you see? This one has two ties, you could see. See that? Unless they tied it, they could have done it to where it's really long, and then you fold it back. That's also an option. We're going to have to tie a couple different sides. We're going to have to try a couple different variations. I should tie at least a dozen, though, and send them down with them to test them out and let me know how they swim. Because they wanted me to tie these for these guys. We'll see. We're going to try it out. All right. Okay. We're going to try it out. What size hook would you use? Those are 2 odds and 4 odds, which it seems like almost all of the rooster fish flies that I tie for these guys are 2 odds and 4 odds. So I'll show you right here. These are rooster fish muddlers. This is a 4 odd right here, 4 odd Gamakatsu SL12S big game. And this is the size 2 odd right here. Okay. Oh, well. Turns out we bought Nyaka material by accident. All right, so we have blue. What are our colors here? Blue and white. I have blue hackle I bought. I have brand new white hackle I bought. Which, this is why I like getting the 1 ounce packs from saltwaterflies.com, because they're like 25 bucks. And it's literally, if you took all of these bags of hackle and put them in one bag, that's what you're getting. Meanwhile, this from JHS or whatever, JS Fly Fishing is called. JHS is a pedal company for guitars. I was like, wait, JHS is not the right thing. That's not fly fishing. The JS Fly Fishing is still good. Some waspy hackle, but this was $10 a pack. So 40 bucks for this versus if I just bought one of the big saltwater flies packs, which he's out, which is why I had to do this. I'm trying to think, do I have one I can show you guys? I don't. But Chris does sell a 1 ounce pack of hairline Chinese saddle hackle, and it's definitely worth the 25 bucks. That being said, we do have some new white hackle here. So I do want to add some marabou. Unfortunately, we don't have any marabous coming for the... It's coming probably on Monday or this weekend for the blue. So what could I use? We could just do no marabou. Maybe we'll do a white one with marabou. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so we're going to have to figure this out. I am going to take a quick break, wash some UV resin from my hands, and go grab a quick drink. But when I get back, we're going to finally get to try and tie one of these Nyaka baitfish, which is, it's so funny, dude. I did not realize. And we figured out, I think, didn't we talk about that and figure out this was the material? But it turns out that I was like, they didn't even want them. They were like, you know what? Let's just ban out the kinky muddlers because they work so well. That's hilarious. I ended up accidentally buying the exact material that was used. Palmer hackle. Really? You think what Palmer hackle where? In between the, behind the hollow tie? Yeah, but you're gonna, are you palmering the hackle, on the, so you tie your material, right? You have your hook. Okay, your hook's right there. Right here. I'll put a hook in it. We do need a 4-rod. Hold on, real quick. Let's think about it. There are 2 ways you could do that if you wanted to add a feather support. I don't think there is one in there, by the way. I think I'll show you the way that it's done. Let's say you have your tail material like this, right? Or this is the hollow tie material right here, right? Oh, polymer hackle? Yeah, the problem is the hackle's not long enough. I thought you were talking about as a support. I see. Yeah. Now, for the marabou, so I'll show you here. You could see it here. This is the marabou transition. So you have your hackle right here. But if we just had the hackle and the material, you know, it's not as nice. So Johnny Kings throws in a little bit of marabou. And you see how this material's this length. The marabou's this length, and then the hackle. So that comes to a nice transition here in the center. That's kind of the idea. I would need a much webbier hackle, for instance. On a 2-aught, it would probably work. But on a 4-aught, it's not long enough. Okay, that being said, we're going to try and tie these when we get back. We're going to take a quick little break. I appreciate everybody hanging out. We'll have the Nyaka baitfish up so we can tie that. Yada, yada, yada. All right. We're going to take a quick little break. Speaking of Albie Highlight, I guess let's throw that sucker back on there. And I'm going to go grab a drink, take a quick little stretch, and we're going to be tying back here in another second, all right? Appreciate it, chat. tight. Stay tight, all right? Yep, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay, okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the bow.
Yeah, get on the bow. All right, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Oh, let's go!
Come here, hold next to your alley. Good job.
That's sick.
All right. Nice.
Let's go! Woo! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee!
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little toonie, bro. On the alligator too. Oh my god, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my god. Yep. Oh my god! All right. Let's see, how do we tie this thing, huh? Let's figure it out. I'll show you how I think it's tied. I think we're going to have to use it. I think it's a pretty decent amount of material, but we'll have to see. I think we should start with a 2-odd, too, because I have way more 2-odds. And these 4-odds are like gold to me at the moment. Let's take a 2-odd SL12S. This is roughly the same sort of hook that they use for that fly, if not the same one, so. Now, a little tip. I like doing my tails in... I mean, that video does never get old. And I've literally had it as the highlight since 2021 on this channel. It's now, what, 6 years old? Reminds me of what I'm working for. To fix that damn boat one day. We're just going to have to get a new motor. There's no other way around it. No other way around it. I'm genuinely curious. I think the feathers are tied like pretty far out. They're pretty far up. I don't know if there's two or one hollow ties, or maybe there's like a V tie inside and then a hollow. I don't know. We might do our own version of the Nyaka. I'm not certain. We're gonna have to figure it out. I will say this is pretty nice hackle. Looks like most of it's usable, which is not always the case a lot of times in these bags. When it's slightly tented, and even if it's not sitting perfectly, it'll tent better once we do our tuck. Give it with a pinch. I'll wait till we'll do the others. This one's not sitting right. I messed with it too much. Now we'll take some blue. This is a brand new blue pack. The other one was a brand new blue pack too. Nothing came out. Now this one I see there's all sorts of little giblets flying out here. Oh, I think we are going to do blue. I'm just, so I'm not going to tie a million of these. We're just going to send some samples down. And we'll see how they work for them. We'll do some all white and we'll do some blue. They do have tan colors. I just don't have any. It's too thick. That's why it does help you see if you do kind of like thin down some of this hackle so you don't have to deal with all this crap over here. Just being lazy. Is that feather backwards? No, just not very distinguishable. Now we can pinch it. Cut this stuff and it's not going to move on us, hopefully. I've learned to never be certain of what I say. That's why I say hopefully, because if it moves after I say, it won't move. I've streamed long enough to say that's why you throw in that little hopefully. So this is the Johnny Cane's little tuck here, and that really gives us that pocket underneath. This is where I would like to do some marabou, but I don't have any. I'm not going to. I don't think there is any in the other one, by the way. So that's tied pretty far forward. I can't see it just being a hollow tie. I think we have to do like a V tie or something now. I could be wrong though. Maybe the hackle's tied even more far forward. Who knows? Or it's a shorter shank hook. Oh man, why am I taking this stuff out of the package? It's easy enough to work with in the package that it's probably the best way, I think, than taking it out. Because I took it out and it was kind of getting unruly on me. And I don't have a lot of desk space, as you see. Otherwise, I probably would just have it out of the package. But it was kind of like, like you pull one fiber and a bunch of fibers were coming with it. So just leave it in the pack sort of thing, I mean, no matter what, even if we hollow tie this like this, it's still way too long, so we need to cut it down. I mean, that kind of seems like the right amount of material. What if we took it and we just went like this? This is an experiment number 1. There might be too much material. But what if this pocket of material on the inside kind of like... I just don't know. Is there a V-tie in between or not? We're going to try. We're going to tie one like this, one... Otherwise, I think this might be a little too much, though. I want to take a little out. You kind of want a good amount, though. I think there might be 2 ties. I'm not certain. What if we have this here? Or what if it's like this, you know? What if it's actually like you tie it 60-40? This isn't 60-40, but you get what I'm saying, right? Just try something like this. Because when we hollow tie it, I wonder if it's going to be enough. I don't know. We'll see. The next one we'll do 2 ties. We'll do like maybe a V-tie, or maybe we'll do 2 hollow ties. I don't know. Might be double hollow ties is the right. Wrap forward, but we want to leave ourselves some room. We want it to be an even wrap top and bottom. I don't know. Let's see. Yay or nay? What are we thinking? Is this gonna look half decent? We'll find out. Put your predictions in the chat. I think if this material was a little bit longer, like to here, I don't know, maybe. Also, how long is this Nyaka? Let's take a look before I wrap this back. I mean, that seems all right. It's a little long. You kind of want it shorter. What if I do this? Yeah, V-tie first? I know. I'm just trying. We're going to try one like this. I'm curious. I think it's probably V-tie first, too, but... It might not be. It almost looks like on the 2 odds, it might literally just be 1 tie. It's hard to tell. Okay, I didn't secure it down enough. I could already see that. And I got to wrap it straighter. Might need to thin down that white a little bit. Or work that white up on the sides. Make sure she's even. I'm just looking at it, you know. Honestly, dude. That's it. I think on a 4-odd, you might need 2 ties. But on a 2-odd, I genuinely think you could get away with the 1 tie and extending the hollow tie. That kind of looks like it to me. I guess you kind of don't want to build it up as much though, because I think you're gonna use glue to kind of like put the eyes on like that, and looks like a sparse V-tie first. Yeah, I think you might be able to get it. This might be a little too much material though. You might want to tie a little skinny, but I mean this does look pretty good. Like, I think that looks... I think you can get away without doing the V-tie because of the length of the hollow on the inside. I'm going to thin this out just slightly. Like that. The thing is, though, with this one, there's, like, not even a... There's like no thread in front of it. They use the glue. The glue in the eyes. It generally looks like there's not even really a thread dam in front of it if you look. And I'm thinking this is tied commercially. I genuinely think there's literally one tie. And I think it's tied, but I think we have to have the length of the excess V-tie be longer than what it was. I mean, we glue some eyes on there and we liquid fusion the head. That's like... I mean, that's it, right? I think we want to... I mean, that looks kind of pretty much like it to me. I think what I want to do is thin out some of this white or something. I want to make sure there's not too much belly material. There's just going to be a sample fly, but they're going to fish it, so I'm not going to charge them for this stuff, essentially. This is a test. So just a little less belly material. Yeah, huh. Well, the thing is, you're not gonna... They glued the entire head. The entire head has glue on it. This whole section... I don't know if the eye is, but this whole section has like liquid fusion or something applied to it. Because if we go back, that's not straight up hollow tight. You can see right there, there's glue on it. There's some sort of glue. I don't think it's silicone. I'm pretty certain it's like a liquid fusion type thing. There's something, maybe a flex resin, but you could see it right there. There's something on the material right there. That is not, there's not even a thread dam. And this is the material. So it's got to be some sort of adhesive. So it's almost like you barely want any thread in front. You want to like let the glue do the hollow tie, or get your shape for you almost, essentially. And taper the lawn ends. Yeah, I did taper the lawn ends myself. Now that looks like a pretty significant amount of material though, doesn't it? That's a 4-odd, but still. I'm a little worried. I want to make sure, that's the thing. If you did a V-tie in between, it would be even more material. I think it's just one big puffy hollow tie that's folded back. Because there's flies like the airhead where I think there's like there's like material on the inside. This one I think is just glued like that, and it's kind of like it's like a poofy, hollow kind of shape, you know what I mean? And what I'll do is I'll rest it in this, and I bet you this will help determine the shape. Let's just do this. Let's leave it pretty flared out. I could definitely use these eyes. I have some backup. We're gonna see right now. Where's the other glue that I've been using now every day? Here we go. I'll just clean the bodkin off here in a sec. I ordered the wrong size eyes. They were supposed to be one size bigger, but whatever. Oops. It works. It's just annoying. I wish they were a little bit larger, you know what I mean? Like, it works. It'd be nice if it was a little bit larger. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit it with liquid fusion. Like this. Essentially. I think we actually... Maybe we liquid fusion it. I don't know. I'm going to liquid fusion it after. I'm going to do it just like I do with a kinky muddler. I think that's the way I'm going to try and do it. The tip of this bottle, of course, is all drying up because I've been leaving it uncovered. You imagine how long it takes me to glue all the eyes on. It took me hours, so this thing was sitting uncapped. That's way too much. I'm just rushing because I'm going to put the bottom cap back. I squeezed it too much by accident. Softex? We ain't using that crap around here. It probably is Softex. You're totally right. It probably is Softex. Because who cares if it's like some underpaid workers down in South America or something, right? Yeah, we'll just have them use Softex. No, thank you, sir. You know, if I didn't talk to Chris Windrum, I probably would have kept... Look, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just when you're especially a commercial fly tire, you know, let's say I had to glue all the heads. It's not the... You know, I would need like a freaking nice ventilation system, I feel like, to be comfortable. If you're tying casually, there's nothing wrong with it. Just open a window. But... I don't know. I like liquid fusion. Now, look, that already kind of has a nice profile to it. But once we hit it with the liquid fusion, I think it's really just going to get on there. Now, this is kind of where, like, those... Some of them, it looks like they had tab eyes. I could see that tab eyes being kind of like a nice thing here. Also, I trimmed this, so it's not perfect. I think we're going to tie another one here in a sec. I think we'll nail it. We'll see. Now this is actually where I... Okay, now I screwed up. Now I do need to let these dry before I put liquid fusion. Well, it's a test fly, whatever. Guess we'll just do it. I mean, I kind of want this. We gotta wait a sec before we do it. We gotta let that dry. Let's try another one. Shape the glue head, you just put on liquid fusion and go back as far as you want. Because it already has the shape pretty much, but the liquid fusion's just going to keep it tighter, right? Yo, Gene, what's going on? You like the thin out trick? What's that? The, what did I do? I don't even know what I did. But thank you. Okay. Clean that off after. I got glue all over the place. Glue all over the place. Ah. Sweatshop. Ah, the liquid fusion. Liquid fusion is very, very nice. I like it a lot. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite glues in my arsenal. It's non-toxic, which is one of my favorite things about it. I really think the feather comes like up to here. Okay. Feather comes up to there, essentially. It's tied pretty far forward from the looks of it. go ahead. If you catch my drift, slap these suckers on. Oh, my back is already... I've been tying all day. My back's already... So to get to that point in the day now where I'm like, oh... Solar as my work. I don't like using the solar. Like, you could use flex. I don't know. It's nice, but it's like... I think the liquid fusion's just better for this sort of scenario. If you're tying a flex candy, that's one thing. But I do like the flex resin. It just never became part of my everyday fly tying, you know? It's more of a niche thing for me. Pinch, tie. Johnny Canes. Because I've probably seen other people do this, but Johnny Canes, with these kinky mothers, this is the real reason I started doing this. You got to pay credit to the guys that helped inspire your fly tying, so that's what I like to do. And watching that Baja Rooster fish video to tie these flies in the first place for this dude was, I was like, I saw it and that's what convinced me. I was like, I'm going to start doing this more often. You know what I mean? Okay. How can I get the length better? I took the whole thing out of the package. So if I cut it once. I think for a 4-aught, this is like how you do it, but now this is too much. So I'm going to cut this again, and I think at this point, I taper it. That looks about the right length if I cut this and put this off to the side. Might need a little bit more, let's say. Now, this material, which is tapered, is going to be somewhere around there. So if that's the case, we're going to be all the way up that way. Let's taper this a little bit. This is going to extend back, give us that cushion. Go all the way forward. Like all the way forward. Probably still too long. Let's just see, what is this going to be like somewhere. Pull that some more. Okay. I think we don't want a lot of wraps either. Just enough tight wraps to secure it down. You keep your bucktail on top or 360? Now, I know he 360s it. I just tie it on top. Yeah. I find when you wrap under it, it doesn't seem to make too much of a difference anyway. I just like tie it on top. I think he does it 360. But it's like just there as a support, really. Because once you wrap underneath it, it kind of all places it together, I think. But I also use the marabou to cover it up. You're not going to see it anyway, so. I guess maybe if you weren't using the marabou, you would want to leave it more exposed or something. Cut way too much of this off. I think that's too much material, so we're going to take some of this out. Stuff seems shorter for some reason. How did this end up being shorter? Maybe I didn't, or maybe the way it was cut and tapered. That's gonna make it awkward. I don't like it. There we go. Somehow that cut didn't end up being the right length. I screwed it up. Let's pull this back just a little bit. Make sure this is kind of spread evenly around. I might even just add a teeny bit more up here. Wrap forward, and now go ahead and fold her back. Let me go ahead and stick the white back in the package because we have some excess now. I don't need to be messing with it. A little experimentation before I get back to watching YouTube videos and tying. You know what? I'm gonna freaking set a challenge for myself. I'm gonna try and get these 36 gray over white kinky muddlers done within a day and a half or something. I'm just gonna go to town after the stream tonight and just. I mean, I gotta glue a lot of this stuff up, but I could do that like Sunday or something. I don't know. I'm gonna try and get as much stuff done as I can. I'm not going to do these because I don't know how these work. I don't know how they swim. You know, we're tying these for the first time. I'm not going to commit to tying a bunch of these because we know the kinky muddlers work and that's what they want. That's what they need. So that being said, if this ends up working out, then this could be added to the roster next year. You know what I mean? Of stuff we're going to be tying for them. I think the material might need to be shorter, but we'll see. It kind of looks like a good length. Looks like a good amount of material too, hopefully not too much. See where everything is and if I like it. I lost our tunes, damn it. Damn you. Let's go up. Let's just go up. Go way up. Beep, boop, boop. Actually, we can go down and hit view more. There you go. All right, and a little thread dam, actually really not even barely any, because again, the glue's kind of going to do the job, but I kind of like that. That looks good, and then with the glue, it's going to really... So let's do liquid fusion first. Then eyes, then maybe another coat of liquid fusion over the eyes? Question mark? Is this dried? Oh, I should brush it too. Why didn't I brush it? I could brush this one actually before I... Should be brushing these suckers out. Number one rule working with synthetics, you gotta brush them out. Numero uno, por favor. Yeah, I've been watching streamers play DayZ again. There's like a streamer server with all these streamers playing, so that's what I've been doing. Watching pretty much like 10 hours a day of this different streamers play DayZ and just tie as many of these things as I can. Also some interviews with like musicians and stuff, but all right, this one's I think dried enough we can glue it before we do this one. This one we're gonna brush. Yeah, once I think you fold that back, put the eyes on, tell me that doesn't look like the right amount of material. I think that's kind of like spot on, right? Don't we think? Now, mind you, this is a large one. Hold on. Like... You know what I'm talking about? Brush the half beard. You got to go to the other platforms for the brush, for me brushing my beard content. Sorry, you got to pay exclusives, VIP only. What's going on, Slim Thunder? How's it going, dude? How you doing? When you wrap the 360 bucktail, it binds. That's one of the reasons I kind of stopped doing it. Yeah, it's still. You see how it flared out every once in a while when I was wrapping underneath? It still would do it. But yeah, I don't know. Johnny Keynes is a jazz player, though, so he's just smooth with it, you know? Piano player. He can just work his way around the bucktail. And brush my pork chops? Is that code for something? Do we gotta look up that on Urban Dictionary or something? Waiting for sumo to start? Are you talking about actual sumo wrestling? Or a streamer? Or somebody called Sumo? Djibouti Stream was streaming something at some point, and they were like, just decided to put up Japanese sumo wrestling up at the top and commentate on it. And it was hilarious. It was such a good stream. But it was actually pretty entertaining. Actual sumo, yeah. I watched some actual Japanese sumo recently with Djibouti Show. They like put it on their stream in the top right corner while they were playing games, and then they were just pretty much watching the sumo because they have like 3 people on the stream, right, in the same room or whatever. So it was pretty entertaining to watch the sumo and watch like Pops do whatever he was doing. But yeah, sumo wrestling, pretty cool. I like it. I can get down with it. I'm not all in on the super violent stuff. I'm not a UFC guy. Even boxing. I watched boxing when I was young. And what year was it, the year that Mike Tyson bit off, what was it, Evander Holyfield's ear? Was that who it was? I swear to God, I remember as a kid seeing that on TV. I don't know if it... So I was born in 1990. I feel like if it happened anywhere from like 1995 onward, then I might have actually seen it like when it was like, when it just happened. Not like during the live boxing event, but on the news or something, like after he bit that dude's ear off. I remember seeing Mike Tyson bite that guy's ear off as a child, and I was like, boxing terrifies me. Is this what they... 2 days left on the tournament. Average match lasts less than 15 seconds. Yeah, you get to see a lot of different sumo guys and stuff, right? So, we have our liquid fusion. It still wants to flare a little bit. So this is where it could have been, but I also cut some of the material, but this is where I think if I do this, we could help nudge the shape into where we want it. You take something like this, and we're just going to go down until it's kind of where we want it. I use this. In the past, I would take this and put material in it and have all the material ready. And look, there's even like a little cup there at the bottom to kind of encourage the material. You see that? I think if I just let this sit like this, this is going to help. You know what I mean? And the top's like okay. I think it has to do with like probably not having too much thread. Maybe if I use my other thread, it'll be better. I don't know. We'll have to see. But, I mean, I think that works. Yeah, I don't know how. Maybe you take a clip. Maybe you just clip it. Maybe that could be the easier thing. You just, like, clip the material back after you glue it. Because I'm curious how they do it, right? They're probably using a glue that's pretty strong. Like Softex or something. Liquid Fusion's a little bit, what do you call it, lighter. We're going to let this hang out. I guess we'll put some eyes on this one. Dude, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot. I'll tell you that much. It's getting hot in here. better to do, like, you kind of want the 3D eyes, but I kind of wish, I would love to have some tab eyes. That would be fantastic. Can I do stick-on eyes, though? Can I get away with it? Probably not, right? Could we go stick-on eyes with the E6000? And then liquid fusion on top? I mean, I feel like with this, you might actually get a nice profile, too. But I feel like the eyes are going to just fall off. You know what I mean? You need some sort of adhesive underneath and on top. And that's where the 3D eyes seem to have a little bit... Because they're not flexible. They can glue pretty good, but... Jar in the harvest. Very nice, very nice. Very, very nice. I do wish I had larger eyes for these. That's okay. I mean, you know, this is a test. I mean, no, we gotta use 3D eyes. Alright, I'm gonna do one anyway. I'm just gonna ask, I'm gonna say, hey, fish this. Let me know if the eyes fall off or not. Could they use a drying mask? I mean, they could. Yeah, I'm not certain. It just could also be that the material... I mean, because this material is not very... It is soft, but it... Like, it wants to flare. It does want to flare. So... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's in the tying technique. I gotta mess around with it some more. I'll tie some more off stream, too. I've never E6000 to stick on eye. Have you guys done that before? Never done that. I've only E6000 3D eyes. Yo, Frosty, what's up? How's it going, brother? You been playing any guitar? You been working out? Getting those fingers warmed up or what? Dude, I got a G standard or open G tuning riff that I wrote. That's freaking sounds beautiful. And then I got I got this one that sounds like a free song that I just like came up with the other night. It's sick. So I'm just like recording my riffs. At some point I got to sit down and write some music, but I've been playing guitar even though I've just been tying. I haven't played guitar plugged into an amp though in like 4 or 5 days. Yeah, well, hey, baby, break out the manscaper. Scoot, scoot. You know what I'm talking about? I've been cutting my own hair for years now, though. So, I don't, like, even it out. I don't do the cut back there. You know what I mean? This is all au naturel. I just hit it with a number 3 or a 3 mil or something like that. So, that's all. Building the racing sim. I hear you. Well, play 5-10 minutes a day, right? Keep your chops up. Okay, we'll hit this. Let this glue up a little bit. Okay, that needs to dry. Because we want that E6000 to dry up. Let's see. I want to tie like some either variations or something. We got these colors. How else could we mix it up? I don't think there's another tie. I generally think with this size 2-aught, this is how you do it. Because if you put any more material than this, then this might not actually work properly. It might not sync good. Yeah, you've been watching, I've been getting a hankering for some Namalsk, for sure. I want to run into a random Swedish dude in Namalsk and go on an adventure and then run into a landmine and die. So at some point I do want to play DayZ again. It has been fun watching everyone play. Dude, you got to check out Hey You Video Games. It's that guy Gimmick that was playing with Peanut last night. And Gimmick and Juice Man. It's 2 dudes, which I always love streams where there's multiple people, just like Djibouti Show. But it's mostly one guy streaming at one time, but they take turns, so they're streaming all the time. But you got to check them out. I was watching this guy today, and for anyone that likes DayZ, which is a video game, like a zombie survival video game, but it's a lot of like interactions in it. You got to check out this. And they don't just play DayZ, but everyone's playing it right now. But God, dude, it was so funny. That Juice guy, the Juiceman guy, oh my God. I gave him my Twitch Prime. I told him, I'm like, you guys deserve my Twitch Prime. Usually I give it to Djibouti Show every month. But my God, that was some of the funniest. He was cracking me up. So that's all I've been watching while working these past week or so. Before that, I was watching them all play Rust while working on these flies. As some of you folks may not know, I don't own a cable box, so I haven't had a cable box in years. And I don't have any streaming services, so I just pretty much watch everything on YouTube or Twitch or something nowadays. Whether it be some historical documentary about, you know, Fallschirmjägers in World War II, or, you know, it's something like some streamers playing a game, yeah. But yeah, at some point I gotta play again. I got another maybe a week of serious fly tying, and then a little bit more chilled stuff after that, and then I should be good. So I gotta work on videos. Number one priority: film like I'm gonna sit down and film like 4 fly tying videos in a day, then start working on larger, long form fly tying or fly fishing videos. Got more micros dice stuff I need to film and edit. And I gotta make music for both channels, so we don't need to listen to Epidemic Sound. Coat eyes with liquid fusion after E6000, flexible and bomb-proof. You like them, Gene? I've never done it with a stick-on eyes, but with the... This is the same method that I learned from Johnny Kings, but I've been using the E6000 with the 3D eyes for years, particularly on giant trevally flies for saltwaterflies.com. But when I've been, and I've did that with Squimpish hollows as well. That's what I've done. What's their channel? It's called Hey You Video Games. They're on Twitch and YouTube. They're very funny though. Highly recommend them. There's 2 dudes that stream. That dude Gimmick's playing with Peanut again tonight. What was I gonna say? But I've had eyes fall off over the years when just using E6000 on the synthetic materials, because over time, no matter what, if you left it just like this would fall off after a while. I mean, it's on there, but if you catch 20 striped bass and you bang it up against the rocks, and the thing's getting wet and dry and wet, and you know it's gonna fall off over time. So when you add that added layer of liquid fusion on top, it seems like the eyes have become infinitely more, not infinitely, but it's become at least twice as strong, if not 3-4 times stronger. Or like the duration, like the longevity of the eyes. Because I fish them in the surf. If you fished a kinky muddler like this without liquid fusion on it, the eyes would eventually fall off if you're fishing in the surf every day in November. There's some days that the surf is like 7 foot tall. Like you go out there, you're going to die. Like it's going to break your neck. So like this fly is like just going through like a literal washing machine of hell and sand and clamshells and rocks, and it's dragging through the surf and up and down and just getting destroyed. But the eyes don't fall off with the liquid fusion. So just joined you fishing striped bass in the Maritimes. Where the hell is the Maritimes? I live in Long Island, so we're fishing in the Atlantic primarily, and the bays and creeks that connect to the Atlantic out here in the salt ponds and stuff. Where's Maritime? I know there's like the intracoastal, right? Down. So what's Maritimes? Isn't maritime just a general term, or is it like a specific area? How's it going, Avery? Ah, Maritimes is Canada. Well, there you go. It's part of my ignorance. It's because I'm a freaking U.S. I should have known you're up in Canada. Is that a photo of a black bear that you hunted? Yeah. So there's only so many places you can hunt black bears. So you can do it in New York, obviously. I hunt myself, but deer. I'm not a bear dude. But that makes more sense. You got a lot of bears up there. No, I've never done any striper fishing up in Canada or like up in New Brunswick. Right, I think it's really popular. Um, are they all the way up in like over by like Prince Edward Island, PEI? Shout out Deadly Slob, who's a streamer that lives on PEI, who I've been watching for years play different games. But yeah, I haven't done any striper fishing that far up north. But from what it's looking like, that fishery is healthier than the East Coast fishery we have down here. So I'm telling you, dude, like our fishery is in really bad shape. But from what it looks like, that striper fishery up you guys have, which I don't think they're connected. I think they're separate. I don't know if they branched off or whatnot at some point or how it happened, but I believe that that biomass of fish up there is separate from our biomass down here in from like Maine to North Carolina, essentially. But you got them when you were 16 all the way to Quebec. Oh, the bear, very nice, yeah. What do you call it? I think that's separate biomass of fish. And I also think that, you know, with the way, like, just in general, whether it's man-made or however, I personally believe that for any climate deniers out there, it's pretty straight up forward. It's obvious. But we're speeding it up. But whatever's happening, water temperatures are rising globally. And I think what's going on is that striped bass are thriving up there because there's the perfect substrate and there's the perfect like bed what do you call it, there's the perfect bedding material in the rivers, and the temperatures are probably getting to the point to where it's like ideal for striped bass spawning. So I think it's really starting to like, they're like booming, it seems like. We had a guy give a presentation on it at one of our fly shows around here that was talking about the Canada fishery and how it's thriving. But what I hope in the future is that those two biomasses link up, and that Canadian stock of all these fish link up with our pretty much like on the ropes East Coast stock of bass and helps repopulate them or something like that, you know? That's my hope. It'll probably never happen, but it's funny. I talked about it with someone recently that, what do you call it? Someone told me a story that they caught these stripers. I forgot who it was because I talk to people all the time. I just talked to another well-known person in the fly fishing industry if you grew up back in the day. I don't know if he wants me to say, but I had a really great conversation with this dude, if Nick's watching. But what do you call it? Somebody at some point told me that they were fishing, I don't know if it was Connecticut, Rhode Island, or Massachusetts, but they were like fishing, and there were these bass, or maybe it was like Zeke or something, I don't know who it was. But they caught these bass, and these bass were like completely different looking than most other stripers. They were striped bass, but they were like a certain size. They were only like 18 inches or something, but they had this like tannish, they had some like weird coloration that you never see in a striped bass species. I don't know if it was tan, it was something, I forgot what it was. Like it had like, they had like orange, or they had something, but it was like just a big school of these smaller fish. And I think somebody was talking to some marine biologist or something, and I think they might be like a separate branch off species of striped bass that maybe only get to this like certain size and this certain color, and they came from this certain area. Maybe they mixed with some other fish. I don't know. But I bet you there's some cool shit like that with striped bass with the striped bass population. But who knows if they're still around. Maybe they only were around for a little bit. But I heard stories about fish like that. I can't remember what the exact color was, but it was something where these striped bass had this really peculiar color. And it wasn't just like, you know, whether in lighter areas or dark areas, their color kind of changes either. So anyways, that's just something I thought about, you know, a while back. That was pretty interesting. Damn, what time is it? Okay, it's 9:46. Let's bang out one more real quick. And what do you call it? We'll take a look at the Discord and we'll wrap it on up. Because I need to get 36 kinky muddlers done by tomorrow night. Actually, yeah, that's pretty much accurate. I have to if I'm going to do it. Whatever I get done with tomorrow night is done, and then I have to glue everything. So, it is what it is. We shall see. You have striped bass bred with smallmouth that are checkered? Yeah, so we, like, you know, in freshwater, we have the hybrid stripers that are in places like Georgia or whatever. That, like, some famous fly tyers like Henry Cowan fish for, or guide for. And they'll mix with, like, there's regular ones where they're, like, almost like freshwater striped bass, but they're, like, more pure. Because they can tolerate freshwater salt. And then there's ones that are, like, that are crossbred with white bass. Or like other like similar bass species, and you'll get, they call them like the hybrid stripers, the wipers or something, you know. So I know that they mix with certain bass species, freshwater bass species and stuff, you know. So I'm curious, like, can they mix with a different saltwater, maybe bass species or something? Maybe that's how you got that weird. It could have also just been fish that were slightly different color or something, but this was somebody that was like pretty credible and serious fisherman that I think was like a pro, whether a pro fly tyer guy or somebody I talked to that was serious. And they were like, yeah, this was really strange. So I'm curious whether that was like a cross, like a, you know, striper mixed with something, or maybe just an offshoot on some rare genetic thing. But it seemed like they stuck together. All right. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Yeah, I gotta do, so let me think. I need to tie 10 and 10, then another, so there's probably like another 3 dozen kinky mothers I need to tie for these other guys. But I'm just gonna keep tying, dude. I think, I guarantee you they're probably gonna want more. In worst case, we're gonna take them and we'll put them up on Anglers Marketplace as a way for you guys to buy some flies and help support the channel. So, what we'll end up doing. Seen them with pink fins. Yeah, you see some weird variations at times. The cool thing about striped bass, because I don't know what the fishing's like up in Canada, but we can catch them on rocky beaches here, or like rocky shores. They'll be super dark, almost like gray or black in the back with their stripes. And then if you catch them in the flats where it's really skinny water and the sun's been up all day, they're actually super tan on the back. And sometimes you'll catch them in deeper water, they'll be purple on the back. So they do change, they almost like change color depending on where they are. Because it's not only camouflage as a predator for the bait fish, because the bait fish are above them generally, they strike from below. But just like them striking from below, a great white shark, for instance, or a seal, or a mako shark, or something that wants to eat one of them, would also be doing it. So that's why they have the white belly. So their coloration is like all set up for, you know, it's the same thing with a shark. Shark has a gray top, white belly, you know, vice versa. But their striped bass are somewhat ambush predators. I might have wrapped too far back on this hack. I generally think this hackle is so far forward in this fly. And there very well could be another, there could be a V-tie, for instance. There very well could be a V-tie that we're not seeing, or that I didn't put in, but that's okay. I'm gonna go like this. Maybe a little bit more. You almost kind of want to like actually cut that. You really don't want it too long. And then we'll take some of the blue, but this blue is a little short, so maybe I can, there we go, thin it out by hand myself. Because we can always add more, or I could take some and actually tie it like in the middle-ish. For some added length, you'll see what I'm talking about. Actually, no, we do want it back, so that's fine. I'm underestimating how far we have to. We're almost doing like, it's definitely like a 60-40 length percentage-wise. 60 off the front, 40 off the back. Not a 50-50. By the way, appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. What do you call it? Tying some of commercial flies, essentially, but hopefully it's interesting. I usually try, because I do a bunch of commercial time, but I try to keep that for off stream. But this stuff's interesting enough, those ballyhoo flies, and doing some tests. This is sort of stuff that I like streaming, like we're testing a pattern for somebody or something, you know. Trying to figure out, like it's a mystery, how is this thing put together, you know. I think I might. You know, I know the other one didn't have a big... what happens if we do put a little bit more of a serious thread dam? Can we just, like... what's the profile going to be like? Again, these are tests. I know they don't use that, but I don't know how they're tying it. I'm tying it my own way, you know? What happens if we build up a larger thread dam? Coax it. Put some eyes on there, hit it. Nah, I can kind of see why you don't want too much of a dam, because you can't really get that flared shape, if you will, you know? Otherwise. See, this is flaring quite a lot, though. Like, why is mine... They must be using a serious glue. Like, I don't see how you could get it to not flare like that. You know what I mean? You kind of have to wrap forward. You have to have your tie even. I'm like, can they leave the wrap back on the inside and then move forward and just less tension on the inside for the flare? Or no, I think they're just using a really strong adhesive, right? Because like, how else could you do it in reality? I think they kind of have to. Oh, damn it. This happened earlier and this sucks. Oh, dude, this sucks. I'll show you what happened. My bobbin thing fell off. Now the thread. Hold on. This is a smarter way of doing it. Doing it by hand like this. I'm going to have to re-glue it. So, you know, by the way, I think if I just reach out to Right Bobbin, they'll just send me a new one, but I'm just lazy. And this also, I feel like helps fit in the image of me being a broke ass fly tire when my bobbin just falls apart on you guys. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like that it moves. I wish that it had a clip, C-clip. I wish it swiveled. I like the swivel. I know, so it's weird, but I'm used to it swiveling now. I kind of want an Li Flies Mike signature edition that swivels. Not gonna lie. I like the swivel on it. I make a lawn hook like those that look like eels, about 6 inch, just brown on top with some red by the throat. And you catch 40 inch. Yeah, nice, dude. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't got to get fancy with flies. I don't know if you're tying flies or jigs or what. You don't got to get fancy. I was talking about this with somebody the other day. But if you ever see these old timers out there on the rocks and they're throwing some haggard looking fly, you know, the thing's looks like it was tied. Either their vision's going out or they drank too much scotch the night before. But the guy's catching more fish than anybody else, you know? And that's when I learned, like, okay, it's probably a lot more about where you're putting the fly and how you're fishing it than what it looks like. It's more so like, as long as it's in the general ballpark of what they're eating, you know, it's really just what they're looking for, you know, or put it in their face. Just flies, weight is illegal here? Gotcha. Oh, are you fishing on the same rivers that, like, salmon are fishing on? Is that why there's, like, strict, because you can, what, you can't use tungsten weight? Or you just can't use lead weight? Are you fishing on, like, a special river where there's, like, trout or salmon, they don't allow weights? The only time that ever is in play here in the U.S. is when it's like some sort of trout or salmon fishery, usually. In saltwater, you can use lead if you want. And we do. Gotcha. So these are like pretty much like freshwater stripers. Do they go out to the ocean, or are these landlocked ones you're catching? These are coming into the rivers from the ocean, right? Just like salmon. No weight at all. So can you not have weight in your, like, line? Sorry, floating lines only, asshole. No sink tips. Actually, technically, we don't even want your hook to weigh anything. Your hook is actually supposed to be negative weight. If you could figure out how to make a metal hook weigh nothing, that would be great. Come from the Bay of Fundy, gotcha. It's more so they don't want weight ending up in the river, like weights and shit like that, I'm assuming. I don't know why you can't have any weight. Right? Would be the other reason. They want to probably try and limit lead in general. Because what's the harm if you have, like, tungsten or something, right? But maybe they don't want the debris of, like, split shots is probably, or something. That's where it usually comes from, you know? Would the salmon end up eating any sort of weights or something, or... Because, like, you could use tin. We use tin weights in salmon fisheries. You just can't use lead. But you could use tin split shots on the Salmon River, for instance, here in New York. Because there's something like excise tax. Excise tax is built into all the material that I bought, for instance. You know, because I'm not getting it at cost or whatever. So, like, this has excise tax built into it, the hook and the material and all that stuff, weights and all that. And what that is accounting for is when that breaks off and it's essentially littering. That's what excise tax is. It also applies to diesel fuel. What it means, I don't know. Like, it's such an obscure thing. You guys probably don't even know what it is or whatever, have heard of it, but it's in the hunting, fishing, and diesel fuel industry. Little fun fact. Because I was like wondering for a while, do I have to pay excise tax? But I'm not buying. I'm paying freaking full price on all this material, essentially. But if you were getting it to, like, you know, let's say you were importing all the materials and in the hooks and all that, and you weren't, the excise tax wasn't linked to it, you know. In worst case, I'm just assembling the flies. Certain patterns that are banned. Did they, oh my god, did they ban the squirmy wormy up there or what? So people aren't throwing freaking mop flies or something? Yeah, they're pretty strict when it comes to salmon and trout and stuff. We're fishing out in the ocean and stuff. We have tax on compressed air. Holy crap. Now, is this, if you own an air compressor, you don't get taxed, right? Or are you just talking about, like, if you got to put air in your tires, you got to put a nickel in there or something, like we have at the gas station, or what? Are they? Well, you know what? I don't agree with Canada on a lot of things, but legal cannabis and banning the squirmy wormy are two of them. Round of applause. We did it, chat. We got the squirmy wormy banned in Canada. Let's go. Jeez. Can I get some Bob and Smash emotes on the Twitch chat if you got them? I don't think we have a Squirmy Wormy emote. So that was a big... I don't care whether or not people are using Squirmy Wormies. I just think it's a dumb fly. But for years, people would be like, oh, do you tie Squirmy Wormies? And I'm like, get out of my chat. Get out of here. You son of a bitch. Get out of here. We don't like your kind around here. Because the FFBI was always making fun of the Squirmy Wormies. So it was like part of the channel that we always talk shit on Squirmy Wormies and mop flies. That's not real fly time. So it was like, it became like a meme on the channel. In reality, people were posting like, hey, look at the Squirmy Wormies I tied. I'm like, ah, looks good. I don't really care, you know? But, so we have one of the emotes on Twitch, which we don't have it on YouTube, which I got to set up one at some point. But it's a hammer smashing down on a bobber. You know, the red and white bobbers that you always used to get when you were a kid? It's a hammer breaking one. And that's because we always said, like, people who fish with indicators are cheating or fishing with bobbers. So we had all these memes on the channel, which are, like, fly fishing memes. And, like, there was, like, those bobbing or, like, indicators and making fun of people fishing indicators. In reality, it's all for fun, you know? But I think Canada took my word and they got rid of it. The mop flies, they said, no, you're not getting your mop. You're not getting your fly tying material from Bed Bath & Beyond, all right? Leave the gift card to your wife. You know? If you own a business that uses air, you pay the tax. So, oh my God, you are telling me if it's only a business. Still. And is that because of the noise or because of the compressor? That's bullshit. But I'm wearing my I used to work as a mechanic. I'm wearing my Joe's Garage shirt. And I'm trying to think, is it because of the noise, like the or is it because of the compressor having to run and the environmental impact? That's why they're taxing you or something? Like, I like a lot of things about Canada, but as an American, yeah, taxes aren't one of them for sure. I'm sure, though, the healthcare is probably better than we got here, but whatever. We ain't got into that. I got all into that. I do like my Canadian brothers, though. Okay. Now, because you put it in a tank. It's you're getting taxed for if on the odd chance your air compressor explodes because of a faulty weld. And it's going to be the emergency response that they have to pay for. That's what it is. It must have been a lot of air compressors just exploding in Canada. They were like, listen, we got to put a tax on these fucking things, dude. He's putting air in a tank. All right? Do you realize what you're doing? Do they know about those cheetahs? The cheetahs that you use to put the tire to bead a tire real quick, like a psh. That's probably like a freaking, you need like a license for one of those things in Canada. One of the cheetahs. I'm not gonna lie, those things scared the crap out of me. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you can put a tire on, but then you need a big burst of air to have the tire fill up like that, essentially. Because you could kind of lift a tire up and get one side kind of set, and then it'll expand and pop the bottom. But what you could do is you could do it in one shot, essentially, and have it seat. And there's something called a cheetah, and there was like an air tube that you would fill up. It was like a compressor tube, like this big. You would hold it, and it had a funnel at the end with like a blade. It was like a thin blade type thing that the air would come out of. But so you would get the tire, you would have it lifted up, and then you would hit that thing, dude. But so you would do it while it was on the ground or while it was on the machine. But when I started doing that at first, it terrified the crap out of me because it was like, it's like shooting like a, it's like I couldn't tell you like all the pressure coming out at once. But yeah, tires are scary. I used to do a lot of tires. That was like my main thing, was doing tires and brakes and suspension work and alignments. Kind of like B-Tech stuff, you know, brake jobs and stuff. Basic, like spark plugs, whatever, basic stuff, or basic check engine light stuff, and or diagnostics. But I've had tires like explode and things like that. I've seen tires where like people were like, there was a lady that blew a tire and drove on her rim for, I'm not even joking, probably like 10 miles or something. How she didn't get pulled over or how the car made it. It was a early 90s Mercedes, like a sedan or something. And the rim, when I tell you the rim literally was like almost getting down to the spokes. It almost went through like the entirety of like the rim. And she like showed up at the shop and said she heard a noise. Could you imagine? Like she must have been driving down the like highway doing like 60 or something. It's like that wheel must have just been like shooting sparks out and like metal shavings on other people. Because what happened is the lady up at the desk, I forgot, what did they call it? The service managers, I think they call them. She's like, Mike, this lady said she's got this noise. She's got a flat tire. Can you go out and look? And I went back in. I said, the rim's almost gone. Like, the rim's almost gone. You know what I mean? But that was probably the craziest thing I saw when it came to, like, a tire situation. But, yeah, that was wild. How you actually, like, continue driving, that's scary that person, like, didn't realize what was going on, you know? Ah, you're putting it in a tank and it's everyone's air. That can't be right. That can't be right. You're stealing the air from someone else? That can't be it. That's got to be a meme. That's got to be, like, fake news or something. There's got to be something. The reasoning that they're taxing your compressed air is not because you're taking it and putting it in a bottle and someone else can't get access to it. There's no way. There's no way. Because then you could get taxed. They could tax you for putting water in a bottle. There's got to be some. That's got to be like some freaking meme or like fake news thing or something where it's like, that can't be real. I saw it on Instagram, dude. You put the air in the bottle and they tax you because someone else can't get it. There's got to be some other reason. There's no way. If that's what it is, God bless you. God bless you. Good luck. We wish you luck up there. Godspeed, soldier. They do? I can't. I'm going to have to do some independent research after this. Can we get some independent research in here? That would be hilarious. That would be so good. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to look that up. That would be so funny. That sounds like that does sound like a Mad TV skit or something though. Because you put the air in the bottle and someone else can't get to it. He stole the air! Officers, he stole this air! It could definitely be like a Mad TV skit. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they definitely use some serious glue for sure. 100%. The right, like, this is flaring out a little too much for me. I think I need to. I wonder, like a clip, probably like a clip will just do the job, eh? You just hit it with a clip. I'll just kind of work it down later, compress it. Okay. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm still. They must be using like some soft tax or something, dude. Right? Or maybe like a flex resin. I guess we could always do like a flex resin or something. I don't know if it's flex resin though. Just looking at it, I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Yeah. Well, I know they got some serious taxes up there for sure. You do get a bunch of benefits. There are a bunch of things that we probably don't get as citizens down here, but yeah, we're not. I am a fan of less taxes, though. Boston Tea Party. Look, you tax us too much. We're going to have to throw your tea in the water. We're going to start throwing some tea in the water around here in New York, I tell you what. We don't got to get into all that, though. We try not to talk about politics. But the compressed air thing's hilarious. That's not even politics. That's just funny. That's just funny. As a mechanic, that made my day. That was pretty good. All right. Anyways, chat. I got a lot of work to do. I think we did a. What do you think? So this is the one that's dried. This one, for some reason, kind of. This one worked nice. This one like got the right profile and everything. I think I built up a little bit more of a thread dam. This one's also pretty nice. We haven't hit it with liquid fusion yet. But this one I think is going to glue somewhat nicely. It's not flaring too much. So I think if I added the thread, if I tie the hollow tie a little bit better and maybe a little less. This one I think what ended up happening was the thread wrapping on the inside might have built it up a little too much, which is kind of tough because you kind of don't want it to move around on you. But in the process then it's flaring up quite severely right there. So I'm not certain. What I am going to do, though, is like I might need to hit this one again with some more liquid fusion again right there or something. You know what I mean? Honestly, probably the easiest thing to do is seriously just kind of like clip it like that and let it dry like that, you know? But either way, some experimentation. These are all just like samples. I'm just going to say, here you go. Here's some my attempts at some of these Nyakas or whatever. And I'll tie some other ones and stuff before he leaves. And just let him know, like, I don't know. Let me know how they swim. Is this right? Is this not, you know, or something? Or do we got to do another tie or whatever? And I'll tie some of these for myself. And I'll fish them. Because there's no better way of actually doing it than, like, me testing it myself. You know what I mean? So. All right, let's take a look at the Discord before we're done for the night. It's getting late. It's 10:13 already. Holy crap. We got our tabletop section. Let's see. Fish picks. So we got Zeke here. Whoa. Zeke with a nice bass. Very nice. I'm getting out there at some point with Zeke. By the way, he's got a beautiful boat. I forgot. What's the name of the boat? Or what type of boat is it? I forgot. Beautiful boat, by the way. This is his boat right here. What is it, like 18? I think it's like an 18 or something, right? Or is it a 21? I always forget. It looks like it's a little... It feels like it's a little smaller, but it handles great. 36-inch. 7-inch fly. Dude, I should be fishing right now. I gotta make money, damn it! I gotta make money. Beautiful Pollux by Murano. Fishing over in across the pond over in I think Denmark. I want to say. I always forget, but I'm always like, yeah, I'm pretty certain. Southern Fly Guy. Here we go. Hey, fishing with a bobber. Hell yeah. And nothing wrong with it. Look, he could have a squirmy wormy in there too. We welcome it all. Beautiful fish though. Look at that. I never got into nymphing much myself. So hence why I didn't need to use an indicator, you know what I mean? But beautiful trout. Beautiful trout. It is an 18? Okay, gotcha. Yeah. It's a robalo. Yeah, robalo, yep. By the way, look at the tides here on these flats. Look how shallow it is. It's pretty crazy. Also, is that a custom belt on this Orvis? Or where did you get this? Where the hell do you get this cool custom striper belt, huh? What the hell is that? Fishing the flats here. It looks like probably fishing the troughs in the flats. Or channels. Very nice, dude. And got the first fish. Hell yeah. With the classic nighttime blurry photo. Love it. Hell yeah. Rep your water. Two-hand rod on the beach. Yeah. And tying room. Let's see what we got. When was their last stream? The 15th? I think we saw... Oh no, we fished. So we didn't see y'all. I think... Oh, we saw that. So let's start here with Gabe's. Nice 4-feather flatwing, looking good as usual, Gabe. Nice work, nice colors too. Rattling minnow. Sheesh. I'm assuming you could hear it too. Bamboozle ties amazing flies, by the way. You should check him out. He doesn't have like a... I don't think he even has a YouTube or something, but he just always posts cool stuff in our Discord. I think he might, actually. But I think he sells some flies, if I'm not wrong. Rep Your Water is the company that makes the belt. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. I think it's Yumi, right? Yeah, nice. We got the... oh my god, why is the name blanking on me? I just made a video not long ago. The Boilermaker. Wait, did I do... oh, it's a Brita baitfish. This is very similar to a Boilermaker. Just with, it looks like maybe some bucktail in there and some other material. Like a larger profile. Very Boilermaker-esque. Calvin's, very nice. Easy body bait fishes, beautiful. Like some sand eel ones. Paddle tails, this is interesting. Oh, that's felt. Is that felt? Yeah, so these aren't, or you didn't cut these off of a grub, right? The grub tails. Nice. I like the peacock on the lateral line. That's cool. Very nice. Half and half with some beads. And then some papas. Very cool. Hell yeah. Silver side, I like that. Oh, interesting. It's kind of like tied on top there. Very cool. Alright, I think we're all caught up. Very nice. Alright, chat. Well, thank you so much for hanging out and watching. I hope you folks had an awesome night. Bucktail and craft fur. Nice. That's... if you just take out the bucktail, then you pretty much have a Boilermaker. So that's cool. It kind of, you add the bucktail, you can make it a larger profile and stuff. It's nice. Excuse me. I got a lot of work. There's already not enough flies on there. I'm going to try and add to the pile. So I'm going to clean my desk up, put all this crap away, break out the white feathers. They ain't going nowhere. They're staying. And I'm going to tie 36 gray and white kinky muddlers, watch some Daisy streams, and take a break every once in a while, hit the hookah lounge for my own sanity and to get some fresh air. So thank you, chat. I appreciate it. I hope you folks have an awesome night. Thank you for hanging out. And apologies again. We will be making a ton of fly tying and fly fishing content here soon. I've just been in full-time production mode. So we're going to get back to it here shortly. And I'm just going to make as much money as I can. And then I can, what do you call it? Work on some YouTube videos. So, and get a bunch of that stuff prepared and ready to go out. So, but chat, thank you so much. I hope you folks have an awesome night. Zeke, thanks for hanging out. Tails are leather, it's what it's called. Oh, okay, interesting. It's like a leather, maybe strip or something. Interesting. Very cool. Calvin, thanks for hanging out. Yumi, Jin, thank you again for the resub, brother. I know we had some other folks in here. Avery, thank you for the new sub and watching. We had Frosty, Gene. Appreciate you folks. Thank you so much for hanging out. Slim Thunder as well. All right, chat. Well, I hope you folks have an awesome weekend. If you go fishing, make sure to post some photos in the Discord of your adventures. But always remember, handle the fish with care. The least amount of handling, within reason. And try to keep them wet. You know what I mean? So they need all the help they can get. But anyways, chat, thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate it. And have a great weekend. And we'll see you next Friday for some more fly time. Okay? Take it easy, chat.